This is the 1990 AT&T toll-free directory. And you can have it, too, for only $9.95.
Wow, what a steal.
I know. To get in contact with businesses to hustle more products, it's a great deal. It's like paying for QVC.
Weren't no internet back then.
Because it pays to 800 your way across the USA. That was just one of the ads in this book here. And again, this is from 1990. So this is 25, 30 years ago, really. And this stuff's still a big deal. Where now, nobody's going to, like, wow, I get an 800 directory book? And we'll take a look at it here. This is another one. I use this, the mall, the call, the mall, the call. And it's an amazing thing. So you can go to the mall, where businesses have to sacrifice their sovereignty, their freedom, and their profits to the Mall Owners Association. And this is really a peak era of the mall. Because I would really say from like the late 70s until the late 90s, the mall was the call. The mall was the place to be. The mall was where all the hip, cool teenagers blew their McDonald's bucks. And the mall was where you did your Christmas shopping. The mall was the epicenter of post-World War II consumerism at its finest. Look at all those parking spots. Buicks, Chevrolets, all the vehicles as far as the eye could see. Lane after lane of vehicles. At the mall, at their peak, there were more malls in America than there were high schools. You know, the mall market is saturated.
Wow, really?
Yes. Now, the malls... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was like, I didn't even know that. That kind of was surprising.
I'm really into commercial real estate. I have interest in various commercial real estate, et cetera, et cetera. But anyhow, the mall kind of Nietzschean itself. You know, we killed the mall, and the mall is dead. You know, sort of like the saying with God. The mall was killed through a difference of economics and situations. Really the internet and the new and improved mall. What's this to me really symbolizes, let's say, Westdale Mall. And Westdale was established in 1980, and it was really the preeminent mall in the Cedar Rapids market for like 2 years. And then Lyndale Mall is like, East Side, baby. And they built up, they enclosed their open-air plaza from being Lyndale Plaza to Lyndale Mall, added more stores, and kept adapting and changing with the marketplace. And then Westdale, in the end, it would bankrupt a bunch of times, and a bunch of businesses just bought it back and forth as a tax write-off. So it's pretty much like a charity center until the government gave them a bunch of taxpayer money just so the West Side could have a nice mall again. And now it's not even that. It's like a glorified strip mall that just got a lot of tax money. I mean, you've seen it, right? Mm-hmm. It's not much of a mall. But this was the mall! And this was probably like Westdale's heyday of endless rows of parking, enclosed shopping. And why I was saying also earlier about the stores surrendering their sovereignty to the mall association, because they have to pay more in fees to the mall based on their profitability. It's almost like a communist mall association where they're like, you work hard at the mall, we take more profits. Don't work too hard or we own all your store. I mean, they weren't that bad, but they definitely had that type of persona. If I had a business, the mall is the last place I'd want to be. And you can really see that if you look at a lot of malls and how strip malls have really kind of taken over. You pay the fair market price on the rent, and they don't confiscate your wealth or your sales or your revenue or your profitability, or tell you when you can open and operate your business. What's funny, though, at the mall, Chick-fil-A was exempt from most rules. They were allowed to be closed on Sundays. The only business in the mall that closed on Sundays. But that was something. But anyhow, since this is mostly the call, this is Land's End. And Land's End was part of Sears Roebuck Company. And I really like Sears from a historical perspective. And even today, I think they're still relevant and interesting. Sears Roebuck funded like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which was a big influence on me growing up. But also from 1930 until about 92, they were profitable every fiscal quarter. So this kind of symbolizes the profitability and the glory days of them, because this was a subsidiary of Sears Roebuck Company.
I actually have a reprint of a Sears catalog from 1902.
Ooh, that would be interesting. We could probably do a video of that. Is it? It's actually a tangible print.
Yes.
Wow. We should definitely.
Yeah, it's a reprint. It's a reprint of a catalog from that year.
And that's really their glory days. I mean, they were really the Amazon of 100 years ago. You know.
Yeah.
And
they were the ones. Like, you got that in the mail, and that was like the consumerist Bible.
Yes. But it was good shit, too. They weren't hustling garbage. I mean, if you knew it was Sears, it had some brand value. It wasn't like
it was quality stuff.
It wasn't some,
and all made in America.
Yep. And it's interesting. You look at the Sears, and I've taken pictures of Sears as they've gone out of business. Sears and Kmart merged, and in the 90s, they were huge. They were big deals. You would not have seen that coming. And then by 2000, between Walmart, Amazon, and just change in consumer taste and buying patterns, it just made these places implode. But Lynn County still has a Sears. Leadendale Mall still has a Sears. It will be probably the last Sears to close down, because we're a hard-working, blue-collar American city, you know. And we're number one in fireworks, and we're number one in Sears stores. Yeah. You know, give me a monster truck, some fireworks, and some Sears blue jeans and a Craftsman mower.
Well, you know, when I was looking around for a leather jacket, the first place I looked for one after the thrift stores was Sears.
Yeah,
because I was like, I'm not going to go to Old Navy or Kohl's or some chick store to get my leather jacket. I want a leather jacket from like an American like a store with history behind it, and like, you know, because I'm a dude, you know.
Yeah,
I want my leather jacket from a Sears. Like, I thought that would be really cool.
Yep.
Unfortunately, leather jackets are completely out of season, so they didn't have them. But I do plan on going back there once fall hits.
Okay, and I'm probably done with this one. The last thing I'm going to mention is, if you look at this phone, it's a touch tone model 2500 touch tone phone.
Yeah,
from Ma Bell. So it's just kind of cool on how it incorporates that, and they have the imagery of the mall and the call. I really like emphasizing that. I'm not sure if you could tell, but and then I think there's a few more things. These are just 800 numbers, and the one here, which I thought was interesting. Look at this. They have hotel ads. Bailey's. Stay and play all day. And to me, this is interesting because this is really before the corporate takeover of Vegas. Vegas used to be run by the mob, Teamsters, you know, crazy eccentric billionaires, and really had an individual touch to it. Now it's about 4 corporations that own most of the strip, you know, and they're highly leveraged, and they just haven't been able to meet quarterly estimates like they had in years past. Really, the economic crisis of '08 kicked their ass, but I still love visiting it, and I still think it's a cool place. But it's just interesting to see these different numbers. Holiday Inn and Stay and Play all day. Bailey's, you know, hotel, Roadhouse or Roadway. All these different variations and all that. Is there anything you want to chime in on the hotels, or just cool?
No.
Okay. Well, the one thing I'm going to add here with this is the Holiday Inn. This is just a freaking Holiday Inn. This is not a Holiday Inn Express with a magical wand and a shower that's going to jump your IQ 10 points if you stay there. This is just the Holiday Inn. And it's just interesting to see the different brands. And then, again, there's the 800 number and how they choose to market and position themselves. Because really, a hotel chain or something when you're traveling would make sense to have an 800 number and then really invest into something like that. That's what you'd probably be looking for, you know, with this type of thing. But I think that's about it with this particular one. Business partners, AT&T toll free, you know, and we got this one covered. So I'm doing these in years and sequences for these 3. This is from 1990, and I think it was a very good book, and it covers a lot.